Oh, Cyberpunk, what is going on with this game? What is this, Roblox? This is ridiculous. Oh, hello. Oh, good. We got a floater, too. If you play video games, then you already know how bad this Cyberpunk 2077 launch went. And you're also probably wondering if this has completely ruined the future of the company that created this game, Projekt Red. And I know I'm not saying it the Polish way, but what does this mean for this developer going forward? And if you don't play video games and you don't care what I'm talking about, well, you should, because this is still very important for a number of reasons. Reason number one is that gaming is a huge trend, whether you like it or not, whether you're involved in it or not. And it's one that we've been tracking at MacroOps, which is my global macro research firm. And the reason we're tracking it is because, like I said, it's so big, there's so much money involved, and that means there's a lot of opportunity for investors. And nowadays, more than anything, more than TV, music, film, it's games, video games that determine the culture. This is where people are connecting nowadays more than anywhere else. It's all virtual. We're getting closer and closer to the Matrix. And with VR getting better and better, pretty soon we're just going to jack in and live our virtual lives. And this game, this Cyberpunk game, is one of the steps towards that, or at least it's supposed to be. And if you want more proof on why you should be paying attention to gaming, you could look at all the events that have taken place in one single game called Fortnite, because it really is the biggest place where all the kids and all the gamers are congregating. You can see right here, Travis Scott had an entire concert in Fortnite. This is like some real VR stuff, living your life through a game. Christopher Nolan, they premiered the Tenet trailer inside of Fortnite, inside the video game. Look at this, the little character is watching. And why Christopher Nolan is launching his movie trailers inside of video games for kids, I don't really understand. That seems a little off. But then again, I'm probably off because, like I said, gaming is determining the culture now. Reason number two you should be paying attention is because look at the stock of this company that we're talking about, Projekt Red. Straight up from 2017 to now, it reached like a high of almost 900%. So like I'm saying, there's a lot of money to be made in this space. And this stock is actually one that we're tracking because they're such a profitable company and they're public. So we're going to get into this research in a second here. And when we get into it, you're going to see there's an extremely important investing lesson that you could take away from all of this. So it's not just about gaming. It's really about investing and how we're going to make more money. So for a little bit of background, this Cyberpunk game has been in development for 8 years. And there have been numerous delays pushing it further and further. But that whole time, the hype has been building and building. People are super excited. Keanu Reeves is even in the game. He plays an important character. And again, the whole thing is created by this company called Projekt Red. Now, the idea behind this game is that it's a role-playing game and it's supposed to be fully immersive. So like when I was talking about the Matrix before, we aren't necessarily there yet, but these games are taking further and further steps towards that. And Cyberpunk was supposed to be a big leap forward. So the whole idea behind these games is to get fully immersed in them. You're the character, you're running all the missions, you're picking all the dialogue, you're making choices. It's like real life, but way more fun. And I guess I should explain the Cyberpunk aspect of it is this game is in the future, 2077, where humans are blended with robots and everything's crazy. You get to do a lot of fun stuff. Who doesn't want to do that? And when they're talking fully immersive, they mean fully immersive. Like even when you create your own character, you could change everything about them. There are so many different settings, even for eyebrows. You could have eyebrows like this or this or this. Best of all, you could even customize your peepadoo. So of course me, that's why I got the game. I'm sure that's why a lot of people got the game too. To just create the most large, grandest peepadoo ever imaginable. The complete opposite of our real lives. That way you could go off in the cyberpunk land, live out your fantasies with this magical peepadoo that looks like a third leg. Eventually people in the game start calling you Tripod, saying, hey, there goes Tripod. Make sure he doesn't whip you with his pistol. So the peepadoo possibilities were endless. The possibilities in this game in general, incredible, right? So the hype was building and building and building. So you could only imagine people's disappointment. If you're wondering, how to play this, yeah, I'm wondering too, as you sink through the floor and fall off the map completely. This is just so bad. And the graphics are messed up. It becomes tough to play at certain points. The game straight up crashes. And if you think about this game and the point of it and the whole gaming trend, right? This is a much bigger trend. The point is immersion. We're trying to get to that Matrix level for better or worse. So problems like this kill that immersion factor. And the biggest problems are coming on the older generation systems, like the PS4 that I have, the original. Like I said, I was really excited to customize my peepadoo, but when I got to the screen, I couldn't even see anything. There was like 2 pixels. It looked like a sardine. And I'm like, what is this? This is too much like real life. What's the point? And I'm not even that picky. Even when it looks like a PlayStation 2 game, I'll still play it. But think about all the angry super fans that have been waiting for 8 years. And after all the delays that they put them through over the years, it was a terrible, terrible launch. So the company had to issue apologies. They're actually giving refunds. They're trying to put out patches as fast as possible, but it's still a disaster. And this disaster is directly affecting the stock price. Look at this right here. From the highs to the lows, the stock price dropped almost 50% during this launch period. Major, major hit to the company because this was their big thing. 8 years in the making. Even longer, I'm sure, that it was just announced 8 years ago. So people, of course, are questioning now, is this the end for CD Projekt Red, the company who made all this? And what does this mean for the general gaming trend too? Well, my answer is absolutely not. CD Projekt Red is going to be just fine. And I'm going to explain why and how this is likely an opportunity for savvy investors. So let's go through those reasons why they're going to be okay and why this is a big opportunity too. So first off, even with all these problems, the game is absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Even with my tiny peepadoo. These guys are a top studio for a reason. There was so much hype around this game for a reason. Did you guys watch this show on Netflix, The Witcher, with Henry Cavill, who, you know, from one good looking guy to another is a very good looking man. Undeniable. But anyway, this show, which I really liked, is based off this game, The Witcher, which is actually based off of a book, but the company that created this game is none other than CD Projekt Red. And this game has been so successful. And really the same thing happened when they released this game. It was pretty buggy in the beginning, but they kept releasing patches to fix it. And it's been a huge, huge moneymaker for them. And this show that just came out last Christmas is still in the culture, and this game is still being played. And it's going to continue to be that way. And that's the thing about games now too. They're not just one and done. They don't fade away because the game continues. The developers keep adding to them. It's gone from like a one and done software like you would buy from Microsoft, right? Microsoft Office. Now it's gone to more of software as a service. It is still one and done, but they keep upgrading it and updating it throughout its life cycle. So like I said, they had a bunch of patches to fix The Witcher 3. They have a bunch of patches for this current game too. And this is a really interesting trend in gaming in total because this is what makes the company so profitable and these games so profitable. But for our Cyberpunk game here, they already released a patch within, what was it, the first 2 days, and it's running better. They announced a statement that they're going to release like 3 more patches over the next few months that will really fix up the game. And again, it's not just fixing patches, but it's adding more material, which they will do in the future. For example, this is an offline game, but they might add an online mode. And this is where all the money comes and why they become so profitable, because it's not even about the front end costs, or sorry, not the cost, but how much they make, but it's the back end dividends that they get. And this is why video games are the most profitable form of media. And actually the most profitable form of media of all time, one single piece of media, is Grand Theft Auto 5. This one right here. And this is actually the craziest example of a developer milking a game for all it's worth year after year. Because this game, it came out in 2013 and they're still adding updates to it. That means that it came out on the PlayStation 3, people were still playing it on the PlayStation 4, and now they're going to launch a version for the PlayStation 5. It's survived an entire generation of consoles. And this game right here is the most profitable piece of media, made over $6 billion. And why is that? Well, because they keep adding more things to the game that you can buy, and there's these microtransactions, which are like in-game items that you could buy when you're playing online. Same thing that Fortnite does, how they make all their money, because Fortnite is a free game. So how do they make money? Well, kids are buying all sorts of stuff within the game. There's a whole economy. And that's how these games make so much money on the back end. So it's not just about the release, it's about the back end. And it's how these companies stay so profitable. And it's why this gaming trend is so big. Another important thing to realize is that they own this IP now. Cyberpunk isn't going away. It's going to be a part of the culture for at least 10 years. And honestly, much longer like that. You don't think they're going to make another game? Of course they will. And CD Projekt Red owns that property. Part of it at least, the gaming part. And they're going to be making money on it for years. It's just like Disney owning Marvel. How much money have they made off of that? And how much are they going to make in the future? IP is really important in this new world. I guess it's always been important, but especially for media. The Witcher 3 saw a huge spike in sales this last Christmas and even into this year because this show came out. Because the IP is that valuable. People love it. I only played this game after I saw the show. A lot of other people did too. And again, it's such an old game. It's from 2015, but it's still making them so much money. And another thing about this specific launch, yeah, it went bad. Yeah, the stock price dropped. But because the studio is so popular and there's so much hype, they announced that their pre-order sales already covered their entire development and marketing cost. It happened in less than a week. They recouped all their money. Everything they make from here on out is profit. That is insane. So yeah, the launch failed failed, but at the same time, money-wise, huge success. And the company in general, if we jump into our research here, is in very good shape. So we wrote this up in June of this year, and we're saying CDR, which is the ticker symbol for this company, is coming off a historical year for sales and profitability. The company is going to use their momentum, which they got again from The Witcher and they've had, to further bolster its lineup of gaming IP. And The Witcher in particular has over 50 million copies sold. The company's net balance sheet is strong enough to withstand the boom-bust cycle of a new game release, which means they're going to be just fine even when this launch fell flat. And again, fell flat from a gaming perspective, but money perspective, they crushed it. And back when we wrote this, Cyberpunk was supposed to release in September, but it just released last week. But all the reviews and everything, everybody was so excited about it, calling it next level stuff when it comes to player choice. It's a brand new take on the whole RPG thing, and it's just a step forward. So everyone, again, was so excited. And the thing that CDR does so well is obsessing over these single player games. And I was talking about microtransactions before, right? Well, CDR doesn't have any of those because they don't need them. It prides itself on actually having zero of those transactions because a lot of gamers hate them even though they're so profitable for the company. So not having those microtransactions, like I said, goes against the trend of nearly every video game developer, including Grand Theft Auto. Rockstar, the company who created them, made a killing off those microtransactions. But what CDR gains for losing that additional revenue is their dedicated hardcore customers. Everybody knows that they're in it for one thing, to create the best RPG of all time. That's what they do. That immersion, that's what everyone wants, and they trust this company to do it. So again, you see why the frustration around how bad this launch was, and you see what the stock price did. But let's keep going here. When we're investing in macro ops, we're always trying to jump onto long-term secular growth trends, which is gaming. It's a huge one. And CDR is perfectly positioned to capture that growth. They're the top of their class. They have a dedicated base of super fans and produce the highest quality games in their category. The company is anticipating over 500% in revenue growth the next year. That's in 2021. It's nuts. And part of that growth is coming from still monetizing their super old Witcher game. So within The Witcher, there's actually a game within a game. It's a card game that you could play with other characters in the series. It's called Gwent. Well, that mini game is so good that they're spinning it off into its own game. They got an online mode now where you could play against other players, and there's even esports tournaments around it. So again, this company is smart in how it monetizes its IP. So they're still milking this game so many years later, and you could see how profitable it's been because when you look at the stock price, like I said, it's been straight up since 2017, even before 2017. And what did I say? It was like 900% or something, or what this says 700 now. It depends where you calculate from, but point being, a lot of money made in this stock. And what did we say? They already covered the cost, so now everything going forward is profit. And like I was saying before, yes, it is a bad launch. Yes, the game played terrible in the beginning, but with their first patch, it's already playing better, and I trust them to come up with more patches so that it's playing how it's supposed to over time, which isn't the best outcome, but it's going to happen. And this is where the investing opportunity comes, because with this launch, you see there was a big drop in the price, right? Almost 50%. But if we believe in the company, then what is this really? It's an overreaction from the market, because realistically, they're going to fix up this game just like they did with the last one, and they're going to make a ton of money off this franchise. So you can see right here, the thing dropped hard, and then you see this little green candle, which looks very bullish. And let me explain what happened here. So what this is saying is that price dropped during the day, right? It looked really bad, but then buyers came in and pushed it back higher. That's why it's green here instead of red. Started lower, ended higher, and you can see down here on the volume is much higher than its average, which is this blue line. So the green line is way above the blue line, saying that lots of buyers came in to support this. And you know who those buyers are? They're people who are thinking, hey, the market and investors way overreacted to this. This is a great opportunity now because I'm getting a 50% discount because it dropped that much, right? Let me get in and buy it because I know this stock price is going to shoot up higher because this game is going to be successful and the company is going to be successful. And this type of situation here is what you're going to see from markets time and time again. Markets can be very stupid, or I wouldn't even say stupid, just emotional. So if you stay rational in your analysis and you see there's an opportunity and the market is being emotional and overreacting, that's where you make money. And that's exactly what people are doing right here, buying at this low with the idea that the stock price is going to recover and make them a lot of money. And I'm not saying it's super easy, like this is set in stone, a done deal, that the stock is definitely going to recover, but that's where your research comes in. And that's where you take a position based off what you know, what you researched. And like I said, this is a concept that constantly happens in markets over and over again. For example, like when the economy is really bad, why do you see the stock market continue to go up? Doesn't make sense, but understanding why it's moving like that can make you a ton of money. And speaking of that example, I actually actually have a video where I explain that exact answer, why the market is disconnected from the economy, why it doesn't make sense, and how you can make money off of it. I'm going to put that video right here. You should definitely watch it. It'll give you a much better picture on how to understand the market, even in these types of scenarios with this game and CD Projekt Red. So click right here and go to the video. I will see you there.